Tonight's the night you've all been waiting for. Another good one here at LCK in the Nexon Arena will be KT Rolster up against Longju Gaming. And boy, crumbs, do we have a match tonight. How are you feeling about this one?
This is just the tip of the iceberg for a fantastic week of LCK, and it starts off with a battle for first place. Longju versus KT Rolster, both sitting at first place, 13-3. KT Rolster, a 6-game winning streak. Longju, a 7-game win streak. And if that wasn't enough to salivate your League of Legends palette, KT after this plays SKT, and Longju plays Samsung. This match is the culmination of League of Legends. This could be the finals. This could very well be a World's Finals as well. The amount of information that the world will take from these two titans battling tonight is going to be dictating patches for weeks to come.
It definitely will be, and it's a big test for both of these teams, but especially for Longju. They've come in to Summer, they've destroyed big teams, they've destroyed little teams, and now they're on top. They're both tied at 13-3, but Longju Gaming has more indicator points at plus 18. So definitely looking really, really good. I think it's going to be a very close performance, but Longju, they got to get through KT first, then they got to get through Samsung. Easy for them, but if I had to pick one team, I would be relying on the Longju tonight. It is going to be really close. What are you thinking, Crumbs?
Well, the naysayers for Longju have always stated one thing, that under pressure, the rookies will falter. You've got BDD, you've got Khan, and you've got Cuz. Will they? This is now the last week. This should be when they're actually feeling the pressure as the battle for first actually starts to culminate, and this is actually the test for them to fail. If they choke here, I think that we have a lot of trouble for them coming up. But if they succeed, if they give us a run for their money, regardless of if they beat KT or not, they will definitely be coming in as strong contenders in the playoffs.
Exactly. Huge test for this team. Guys, let's jump into pick and ban for game number 1.
Blue side will be for KT, which has been favored a whole lot, but this time around, I think that we might get to see teams actually fight in their drafts. While many times you would say that, and way more new picks will be in store.
That's really interesting. Lots of targeting towards Cuz already. He played a couple of games of Sejuani very recently in the recent matchup, and he looked really good. He was performing really well on the Sejuani. So they say, no, you're just not going to have that. You also won't have the Maokai. Haven't seen that yet out of Cuz, but they didn't want to let that happen. And then also the Elise, another big pick for Cuz. But as you were saying, good for score. But it looks like they want to take away another jungle with that and go ahead with the Gragas.
This is exactly what Korean teams are known for doing. When a new player, somebody that has been relatively untested, steps onto the field, they say, we are going to target you to no end. That's 5 jungle picks already taken away from KT. Between the 3 jungle bans, the Zac, as well as the Gragas tonight, they're already putting Cuz in an unfavorable position. He might have to resort with a Rek'Sai. And if he goes with a Rek'Sai, that would mean that Longju would be committing to a composition that will not be able to survive in a late game scenario against what KT has drafted, which is what we're imagining will be the case because they already have Gragas, the best jungler for getting to that position in both peeling as well as engaging.
Well, they take away a lot of picks from Cuz, but they do give a big one over to Khan. That Jace being picked up. Also the counter pick of the Thresh. We've seen Gorilla play it a ton, but it is Mata's also most played. Both of these supports actually most played support there. So they picked that up. They also get that 8-0 Jace for Khan. Definitely a good round of picks for Longju so far.
It's a good round, but KT's showing some crazy preparation here, prioritizing the Ashe over any hyper carry. A Kog'Maw could have been in order, but instead they have gone with more engage in the bottom side, and that could be an indication that they do not want to let Longzhu go for some early game power. They just want to have the complete control as to what fight is happening on the map, and boy, with Renekton already for Smeb, we got fireworks in this game.
Yeah, Smeb's most played here. I was expecting maybe they would get to have Renekton Elise if that did get through, but targeting Cuz means they will just have the Renekton pick for now. They also can make some fireworks happen with the Gragas. And as you were talking about before, the Rek'Sai having to be picked up before even more jungle bans could come into play. And, well, Cuz, he's 0-2 so far on the Rek'Sai. Curious to see how he'll do in this game.
We don't know just yet, but I think what will be interesting here is the support pick from Mata. Morgana is an available pick, and I think that if that actually goes through, we might get to see Longzhu be completely stopped in their tracks in the early game playmaking. She can stop Rek'Sai's Unburr, which is a critical ability for her, as well as Thresh. The laning phase, Thresh has a lot of opportunities to legitimately outplay the Morgana. Complete counter. I think that most people would agree that Thresh has the advantage if he is on point mechanically. But if KT chooses to simply drag this out to a 5-on-5 scenario with the 3 picks already in store, it looks like they will be coming out ahead.
Waiting on this last ban here, they already took away one support, so Morgana's still available. Other picks, you know, Braum, the Rakan, also still on the playing field for KT.
It is all about the early game and strong laning phase against the Renekton. Jace can beat that by himself if he is without any jungle interference. It's range versus melee. We know how that goes. And at least they have banked on the insurance of the late game. By locking in this Twitch, we already have a team that has the opportunity to beat a 5-on-5 brutal front line with Ashe and heavy engage as long as Longzhu can outplay it. So Longzhu is banking on their mechanical prowess and their team fighting capabilities, which have allowed them to get to that 7 win game streak, whereas KT will now be having to resort more on their champions. And if they lock in this Braum, you have Unbreakable to deal with Twitch as well.
Yeah, interesting that Prey goes ahead and picks up that Twitch on this pick. Actually, no, he's played 3 games of Twitch. My bad. And he's actually 3-0, so he's looking pretty good on that one. And we trying to protect the Ashe in the back, and then the Orianna picked up here for BDD.
This is an outstandingly strong draft from Longzhu if they are up to par in their mechanics, as we have reiterating. Wins. Mid lane has pressure. Rek'Sai can find Gragas and track him out. The Thresh and Twitch can have a decent lane into the Ashe and Braum. But when it comes to a 5-on-5 grouping phase, because they don't have such a brutal front line such as what KT has, they will have to rely on great hooks, on fantastic plays, on great positioning. And equally, KT will have the option of outplaying Longzhu. If you flash out of the shockwave, if you can mitigate the pressure early, hit that mid-game even, and just force down fights into the bottom side, which we know that KT is going to do at level 6 into that bottom side of the map, they can blow it wide open. So both have plenty of win conditions, but I believe that Longzhu's are a bit harder to execute.
A bit harder. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer, get Prey online. We've seen BDD's Orianna pop off, as well as Pawns. Both of these guys have been playing fantastic Oriannas, so definitely one of the key picks coming in here. Pawn going to hop onto his Gallia once again, 9-1 with this pick.
And with the Galio, this composition is similar to Kalista. So 4 tanks in the Kalista, but they've shifted some of the damage over from the Kalista to the top lane, whereas before it was a Shen, now it is a Renekton and Ashe. So a little bit more engaged capabilities that are with her Fate's Call, whereas you have KT or Longzhu. He is taking that cleanse, and once he starts getting some itemization in, he's going to be safe in the mid lane against Galio.
So here we go, guys. The moment you've all been waiting for. Game number 1 of KT Roaster versus Longzhu Gaming. Let's hop onto the Rift. Longzhu starting off with a louder cheer, as no doubt they've picked up tons of fans coming into this summer. Fan group stand strong as ever as well.
And Gorilla is going to be taking the Ignite in this lane, so I think that they have a map. And with Cuz starting on the top side, I expect to see a quick level 3 into possibly an invade into the red side from Cuz to scout. Out what KT was doing, what the path that Score has taken, and maybe sneak in for a gank into the bottom side. Although, when you have a draft such as what KT did, you want to see them go with more than just putting him on a champion, but make sure that it fits their entire MO throughout the game. So they have to be invading Cuz, keeping tabs on him at all times, because they have identified him as perhaps the weakness of Longzhu. And I think that many people would agree his inconsistencies have been far more than anybody else on this team. And it will be disappointing if we don't see KT completely stick to the theme of targeting Cuz, and that will rely on their lanings, on their laners, getting advantages, pushing the lanes, and then getting the vision necessary to keep track of him.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if he's going to come up to the test tonight, because he hasn't won a game on this rec side. It's that extra pressure just in the back of his mind. He's waiting to get a win on this champion. No doubt he's very strong on it, but still going up against a team as strong as KT, you got to think he's going to be thinking about that a little bit. We got also the Khan versus Smeb matchup in the top lane. Khan, he is 8-0. He is undefeated on this Jace so far. He said, I can basically win any lane with this Jace. I think it's unbelievably strong right now. So we'll see how he does. Got a little bit of a skirmish in the river right now. It looks like Pawn will be the first to respond as Score gets extremely low. And Pawn, because he did lose his ally, is going to back off. So Cuz winning that small skirmish will pick up the Scuttle Crab.
He wins that skirmish, but I want to draw attention to Khan and how he was playing the wave, because he was able to crash that wave at the turret before Gragas was already at the river. So typically laners that aren't that aware of the timing of the jungler will be still not have crashed the wave by the time the jungler already finished the Scuttle Crab and can find the gank to the top side. But because he had pushed so thoroughly, he finds an opportunity top lane and is not susceptible to a gank, let alone when Cuz spots out Gragas.
Now Score is in here doing his Gromp. He's getting a bit low, and Cuz is seeking him, looking for his prey in the jungle. Will be spotted on a ward, but they know that Cuz is here. Smeb should play this very passively, or even throw down a ward. There it is, and he should know that Cuz is here, and will just have to back away from his turret.
It would be unwise to follow up on this, even though Pawn did just blow his teleport onto the mid lane, because you know that Score has space. He could have made a route back to the top side and protected Score if it was necessary.
You can see how much respect he's given up in that top lane to this early game Jace, especially as he's playing the Renekton, just giving up some of those creeps under turrets. Just trying to survive here. Getting another look in the bot lane. So far it looks like Deft and Mata have the more aggressive stance in the lane, are pushing a little bit harder down there.
That has been what they have been doing for quite some time. Ever since they got the Tristana unlocked, they were just pushing relentlessly, even with the Caitlyn at the time where it was not a permaban. They would always just push the lane, try to knock down the turret in under 10 minutes. They're not going to be able to do so this time around, but The curious thing about this game is that, sure, there's not that much action this early on, but both teams have plenty of reason not to find that much action. I think that KT has full confidence in themselves come a late game, as they will be having 3 Gargoyle Stone Plates if they choose to team fight that much. And then you have Longju that have Orianna and Twitch. And while many hyper carries do struggle to kill the Twitch, what we have discussed about this meta is that it is imperative for you to have backline access. And Twitch is that champion. If he can get past Mada's Unbreakable, time his spray and pray well, they will be able to hit death. He will be able to position significantly better than most AD carries that are on the map 24/7 and have a good chance of winning these late game fights.
Okay, we have some action brewing up in the top lane. Khan trying to get out of this one. He does have a splash. There's the body slam. Bunch of damage coming out. They will not follow up, though. As Khan, with the respect flash, going to knock that drunken man away, and he does survive.
And the opportunity cost for that is the vision that Cuz gets on the bottom side of the map. And we still have yet to hit level 6, and we would hope that some deeper vision goes on this part of the map, but I think that both teams are well aware as to what their plans are. KT really wants to go for the dive onto the bottom side of the map, and they also want to protect themselves, which is why they have a deep control ward on their own side. This is the first time that we've seen KT go with a vision that, or a control ward that defensive. Usually we'd see it at the Scuttlecraft, or at the Tri-Brush, at the Golem camp, but this far back at the red side buff, indicating that they do not want Cuz to enter this side of the map to go for any counter jungle or any deep routes that will access their dual lanes.
You got Cuz cleaning out a ward here. He is going to be spotting score as he is burrowed there, but here we go. A bit of a roam from Gorilla trying to come into the mid lane, lurking around. It doesn't look like Pawn will get aggressive enough for them to have an opportunity to go for that gank. So immediately hopping towards the top side. They know that KT is going to be focusing Khan that does not have a splash. And here we go. Should be a 2v2. Score just waiting in the wings. Not yet level 6. Doesn't have his cask, and so is just going to stop that gank from happening.
Longju cannot take this fight, not because they can't win the 2v2, but because Pawn has his ultimate. Every time that there's action to the top side, he lingers over there. So a lot of it revolves around BDD. Can he keep Pawn distracted and busy, not capable of going to the top side of the map and help with an ultimate? Because if the ultimate is there, even if it doesn't get challenged, the damage reduction will be enough to sway this matchup.
Oh, Brum getting low, and there's that ignite. The poison coming out here from the Twitch. The Lantern forward, and he's going to pick up first blood. Now it's Deft, 1v2. The heal coming out. Deft, he doesn't have his heal yet. That play backwards. It's going to be a double kill, but he does at least trade one, getting the best of a bad situation for Deft. But Longju getting 2 kills on the bot side.
That is huge for Prey. That's 2 kills on the Twitch. His early game has already been scot-free. 2 kills on him means that he's going to have an accelerated mid-game, hits that Blade of the Ruin King earlier, and boy, if a Twitch is getting fed, it doesn't matter how tanky your team is. This is the strongest hyper carry in the game in terms of just flat-out DPS. Sure, a Kog'Maw can melt a single target down, but a Twitch kills your entire team.
That's going to be really scary. They did a lot to counter specifically Prey, but also Cuz. And yeah, Mata just getting a little bit too aggressive in the lane after taking that much damage, not respecting the hook as Braum. Thinking, hey, I've got a big-ass shield. I should be fine, but no, not the case.
He's walking back and forth, thinking that he could just push one more wave before the recall's in, but Gorilla with an excellent hook, showing why Thresh is such a powerful pick, and this is an indication as to what is going to happen in the rest of the series. And I think that just from that kill alone, KT will have to reevaluate their priorities over Thresh, because that was a possible first pick this game. We've seen KT first pick Thresh and go down into series where they truly value that champion, because Mata is so good at it. I mean, for crying out loud, he's got a world skin on this champion.
Yeah.
You can't really get better than that on him, and now that Gorilla has it, really showing why it's so prized by not just KT and Longju, but other teams around the world.
We had some skirmishing up top. Cuz is going to clean out this control ward and just help push the lane, as Smeb very confidently really standing up to the Jace so far. I mean, it's been nothing but domination in the top lane for Khan on this Jace in all of his other games that he won, but Smeb on the Renekton, his most played, is looking like he's taken this lane to Khan and saying, hey, Jace isn't as overpowered as you may think.
Well, he has had so much help from Score in the top side of the map. Score has yet to visit the bottom lane. And then you have Galio, who has been pressured 24/7 by BDD. It's apparent in this CS discrepancy, but that's because he's just been wave clearing nonstop, trying to pace back and forth, and BDD just doing his best job in trying to stay ahead in pressuring Pawn. This is where the team play aspect comes into play, where we want to see, and we look at a lane and think, oh, sure, maybe this guy's doing well because of the champion, maybe this is why he's doing well. But when we reach the pinnacle of League of Legends, it's all one big, well-oiled unit. And right now, that two-man unit is looking for Khan.
Uh-oh, he's going to be just clearing out this wave, and he hops forward. Does have his flash available, but already the fast body slam. He's waiting for the flash here out of Khan to put that cast, but he puts it down, and now Khan is all alone, 1v2, trying to hop on over with that flash, and with the slow, he make it away, but here comes Pawn. They're looking for the dive. 3 members trying to go under this turret. There's the flash stun. There's the burst damage, but Smart, he gets killed under turret. Now Smart forced the flash away, and Khan gets away. What the hell? How did he just win 1v3?
Holy, what? That was ridiculous. He actually got away. I think KT was so confident that they had the kill. They were lackadaisical about it, and Khan just took full advantage. The cutlass at the end to close the gap between Score. Oh my God.
That was unbelievable. Sign him up for the highlight crew. That was really, really cool.
That's exactly what was happening with Longzhu picking this draft. You don't pick this draft if you don't have full confidence in your mechanics. You know you're walking up into an unscalable wall if you don't have the skill to do so with the really beefy front line that KT has. And we're going to look at it again. So, okay, he gets a little overconfident, blows his entire combo, immediately gets ganked. How does it happen? KT, they blow everything on it. Sure, the stun comes out on the cast. But then Score prioritizes the mana on the drink, not the slam. Doesn't have enough mana for it, and right at the last second, wow.
Smeb loses the tower aggro, and then Score takes it. So he gets killed first. He can't follow up. He doesn't have that mana. Then Smeb has to flash away. Pawn, he uses that heroic entrance as well when Khan is so low and doesn't just stay there and try to, you know, clean up the kill. He's trying to save his own allies after a failed dive.
Even at the dive, it looked like what should have happened would have been Pawn tanking the turret first, committing to flashing over and keeping that massive range of the taunt up to make sure that the rest of the team could follow up. But now Khan, with a red buff into Smeb, sure, but the damage has been done. The pressure that happened in mid lane was felt on the turret. A dragon was taken, summoners went down, and now Cuz has advantage in the jungle, and they're looking for Score.
Yeah, he's got his flash. If he needs it, he will use it. Score going to be slowed down. Incoming BDD. Looks like Score just getting a little bit too far away and will escape. That bottom lane turret for Longzhu is getting low. The KT bottom lane always pushing, trying to get that first blood turret. Smite fails for Score there, and Cuz going to pick up the Gromp, adding insult to injury for KT right now.
Yeah, but it looks like their only hope right now is on Deft and Mata. They're relentless pushing to the bottom side. The lack of jungle pressure means that because Deft has complete wave clear over Prey, they can push this lane. And one more instance where these two laners find themselves will mean that KT can get the turret. They're trying to get some bases in to go for that final push, as I believe Essence Reaver is already completed. But Longzhu needs to be attent about this turret. If they lose this tower, their advantages that they found to the top side will be slightly mitigated, and that's the last thing they want. They have leads everywhere.
We're gonna have a bit of a fight over this blue buff, 3-on-3, but in comes the supports. You can see him on the minimap as well as that arrow. It's not gonna hit anyone, it flies wide. Looking for an engage after that arrow, but here we go. Now it might be 4v4 as the two supports have made their way up. Just the 80 carries not in this one. The blue buff going back and forth, and Cuz is going really deep. There's that big shockwave though, and BDD picks up the blue buff, but here's the retaliation. The heroic entrance is gonna get Khan. Can they follow up and get another one? The box coming down, the taunt missing, and Pawn not able to pick up another one, only will get Khan.
Longzhu gets super cocky there. They're thinking, all right, KT have to respect the possibility that even Prey was there, because you have to respect that Twitch is Mia. So perhaps they thought that KT would back off, that they would not take that fight, but they are tanks. They are strong at this stage in the game, and so they commit to it. And even though the shockwave was great, they are still using their heavy CC, the disparaged Longzhu, to make sure that they can go for the engage. And they hit a two-man knock up on that one with the Galio, with the hero's entrance. So let's take another look right there at this play. The shockwave will get used to not only secure the blue buff, but hits all 3 members. So it looks great from this point on, but the great Glacial Fissure on top of the heroic entrance means that Khan goes down and BDD just barely gets out. That's been the motto for BDD with a fantastic KDA across multiple champions, always living.
Always lives, doesn't die, but gotta highlight Gorilla too. I mean, he gets Cuz out of harm's way with the Lantern. Then he saves the rest of his very weak team with the box in a perfect position, denying that taunt from the range because Pawn was slowed down and couldn't get close enough. So, great Thresh play, just highlighting exactly how strong this champion can be in certain situations.
Especially when Gorilla has been so well known for his roams. Since the first week, we've been looking at his roams as being a stellar. Even in this first match of Longju against KT, Gorilla single-handedly was turning lanes around by his Thresh roaming to the mid lane, helping people out with a Lantern, baiting ultimate. That was when Fizz was being played, when Pawn took that champion and didn't have the greatest of times, but he has now stabilized his position, and we have a gank in the bottom lane.
Okay, you gotta face check this brush here, but at least they know scores here. The arrow is gonna be flashed and it hits prey, but Gorilla staying alive means that the Lantern is still available. But after all, they do pick up that bottom tier 1, and that will be the First Blood turret. Meanwhile, Cuz not even responding down there, saying, hey, you can take First Blood turret, we'll take the Rift's Heralds. And you can see that Khan is coming over to help out with this one. Smeb gonna make it interesting, it seems. Already popping the Dominus, just waiting for the smite. There it is. Now Cuz just has to get out, but they need that buff. Khan trying to get in. They need to have this fight. In comes Score, and Mono from the right side. Cuz in a lot of danger, but at the same time, so is BDD. Takes that Lantern, though. There it is, the missed Shockwave. BDD not able to follow up. Here's Steph trying to get one more. Cuz is going to go down. Down goes BDD. They're on the chase for Gorilla now, too. They want to get 3 kills on the back of this, and yes, they will at the end of it. 3 members, 4 members even, of Longju going down.
And KT does not allow Longju to get anything that they want. They will have to fight with tooth and nail for anything they want on the map, and the collapse is imminent. It looked like, oh yes, a trade of turret for tower, but Renekton and Galio collapsed instantly. The second the Dominus got popped, you knew it was going down. You knew they didn't want to fight it, and here we go again. It's super low. They're thinking, how are we going to get this out? Renekton's already so strong. We can't take this 2v2 on, and what it looks like, BDD has an answer to this. It's a 3-man. He can help over the wall. They don't account for Score, and Mata making it so damn quick on this side of the map. And BDD gets bopped over the wall, and so much CC on his side of the map that when the Shockwave does get to whip, but that would not have been enough. It's a 3-on-5 at this stage, with Def making it to the battle already. This was obviously going to go into the favor of KT, and they punish Longju hard.
It's a huge turnaround right now for KT, who is beginning to take control of this game. Longju, they can't really engage at this point. Members on the side of KT getting tankier and tankier. We have this Infernal Drake now that both of these teams, they want to take here, they want to contest, trying to block Pawn's charge, and they are going to get the hook. He is still extremely tanky. There's a nice Shockwave in the back, but follow it up. Here's Smeb in the back. Down goes 1. Can he get another? There's 2. There's 3. And now Kush goes in. He wants to die. He's asking for it. Make it 4. And KT, they're running away with this one.
He's had enough. He doesn't want to see what's about to go down, but Longju cannot take these fights. This is KT's realm. They are so strong in the mid game. This is the tank composition. Longju need to be utilizing their split pusher. The Khan needs to be on the side, not just dropping the Rift Herald to try to slyly secure a tower. And in the end, Longju's hesitation and lack of cohesion in this play results in KT with a massive engage that just wipes out everybody. And the biggest thing was Score and Smeb there going on the left. We're going to look at that once again. And notice how chunk death was on this one. Khan having to snipe on the side, but they are separated. It's a 4-man unit with a Jace on the side. And sure, the Shockwave is great, but look at Score. A great double body slam that hits the Orianna, the CC onto him, and then Smeb. We have seen this man make Renekton look like a champion that does not have any limits. He has been playing Renekton the entire split, and it has been beautiful. I think that he single-handedly has actually made a case for Renekton to be pretty much the premier top laner.
Especially when you're going up against him. I mean, he's playing it to the same ability that, you know, only the tippy top laners in LCK can really play. And it's really cool to see. He's 4-0-4, and following up on the setup on that one, though, was extremely easy. made it look very easy. Just went in there, took out all those members, and Longju beginning to falter a little bit under the pressure. Not looking as strong as the Longju that's taken out SKT, that's taken out Samsung. It's looking, or rather not taken out Samsung, but other strong teams. But they've got to really regroup in this game. I mean, they're having a really rough time so far. They're down in Infernal Drake, about 3,000 gold at the same time. They still have answers. They still have that Twitch that got fed early game, but Deft at the same time very fed himself. 3-1 and 4, getting ahead of this Twitch.
They have answers, but they are in the back. They have to realize that it is time for damage control. They need to start giving up objectives that they cannot contest, especially around the bottom side. You've got Galio that can help, the teleport on Smeb, the score that is already so powerful. It's only going to get worse from here until Twitch actually gets about 2 or 3 more items. So they need to just be conceding as little as they can while not dying. They are not capable of taking a fight. They can go for picks, but they need Khan to start separating KT apart. As long as they can't collapse, as long as they're separated, it will be in their best interest.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions. I hope that thought. Smeb, he's all alone against 4. Can he make it out of this one? The heroic entrance, as well as the Dominus, will be forced out, but Smeb does live.
That's exactly what Longju needs, to try to get those picks, force out some ultimates, buy some time. KT is relying on their ultimates right now, especially Galio's, in order to make plays happen. And if Smeb doesn't have his ultimate, he will die quite easily in the fight. So this is a good move from Longju to scout out what KT was doing and buy themselves a couple of more minutes into this game that KT is trying to accelerate past Longju's control.
Yeah, here's Prey lurking in the side. You can see that Mata is nearby to help out with this one, but he is recalling. Looks like Deft will do the same and just backing away from this lane, gonna recall. Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. It's been up and down. Longju looking strong in the beginning. Khan surviving a 3-on-1 dive, and the double kill in the bot lane for Prey, but then just a couple of mistakes. That's all it takes. One at the Rift Herald, trying to go for that. Cuz just desperately trying to get it as fast as possible, but a nice identification by KT to see them doing it and to collapse as fast as they did from the bot lane even, as 5. And then that fight over the Infernal Drake. And now it's all about damage control, just trying to stay alive, trying to get their carries fed. We'll see if they can do it.
Well, speaking of identification there, I have to praise KT immensely here, because not only has their draft been fantastic in what they've been trying to do, but look at their itemization. 5 Ninja Tabis. They know that Khan does so much damage. They know that Prey actually needs to be the late game carry. They completely understand what Longju's win condition is, and they can extend that even more if they play the team fights prioritizing BDD. If they focus BDD and kill him first, wait a minute, they're gonna kill Cuz, but he's got Lantern, he's got Flash, he should be fine. As long as they prioritize BDD, remove the magic damage from the fight immediately, they will just win the fight with flying colors.
I like the idea here from KT. They've just become so unbelievably consistent, especially after that one loss against the Rock Tigers. They've really pulled it together. Here we go, the arrow directly on top of Prey into the Glacial Fissure. Goodbye, Mr. Bot Lane from the side of Longju. They were playing good passive play up until this moment, did not respect the dive.
And the dive is always going to come at the duo lane. That is the strength of KT. This is what we saw the composition do. Khan is caught, and he is going down.
Yeah, goodbye. You're not going to go in. Nice shockwave, buddy. Gonna do barely anything at this point, as the rest of the members on your team continue to get caught. Make that 3 members. So 2 turrets go down. They're just piling on the gold tier. About 8,000 gold ahead now as KT after the recent couple of fights we've had. And now they can easily regroup, use that extra gold, buy some items, and then pressure the Baron.
Yeah, they don't have any need to be pressuring Baron immediately after that play. Many times you would imagine the team would push for Baron at that moment. You get the first kill, you kill the duo lane, go for it right away. But their composition is not a Baron comp. And even though Twitch is stealth, they don't care. The arrow goes out twice, does he get arrowed in invisibility. But even being invisible does not save you from the death squad of KT Rolster that takes down the tier 1 and then finds a way to kill Khan and the tier 2 right after.
Deft, apparently he can see invisible people. having the game sense to do it.
I see dead people.
You saw the future dead person, that's for sure. Making it happen himself. He's like, I see your Ashe, Prey. I think I can play it a little bit better though. Let me show you how it's done. Let me give you a couple of my arrows straight to your face. See how you like that.
And I don't know how much Longju is going to like the next 5 minutes, because 3 chain vests on 3 tanks is the beginning of everybody's worst nightmare. The Colossal, the Gargoyle Stone Plates, the most powerful tank item to ever grace League of Legends. I think it's safe to say, with how much tankiness it gives to your characters, and with 3 main physical carries and Prey not even close to armor penetration or an Infinity Edge, they are far from being able to take down anybody on KT.
Good read here by Longju. They know that they can definitely be dived once again, as they have been multiple times already in this game. You can see that Khan not even hanging around. They did not want to make an effort to save that tier 2 turret. So another one goes down. The only tier 2 they're missing is now in the bot lane. Khan at least has been doing a decent job of pushing that out ever so slightly, trying to take their first turret of the game in the bottom side. But here we go, the Baron has started. There's not much vision at all. Tons of deep vision here from KT. Preyseeker's gonna hit Mata, and even though this is a bit slow, you know, it's not that Baron comp we were talking about.
He needs to steal. He needs to go for the steal.
Okay, the cast coming in into the Glacial Fissure, and so many CCs in a row. Now he's just trying to survive, but he will not. Down he goes. Goodbye, Gorilla. Goodbye, Bray. BDD, can you survive? Khan's not even joining. He's like, yeah, I don't even want to be part of this. Let me try to split push at the same time. So they get 3 kills. Death does die, but Khan is pushing.
That's actually great, because they can't do Baron without Death. So Longju find a way to actually take that down. And I think that KT misplayed that a little bit. They could have actually committed to finishing the Baron, but because they were so eager to go over the wall and just eliminate Longju, they disregarded the Baron, and they immediately gained all its health back, where Cuz gave up on the threat of a Baron steal right away. So we're going to look at it again. We've got Braum and Smith zoning Renekton away, but everybody goes over the wall. Even Deft flashes in instead of taking the Lantern, and as soon as Renekton or Rek'Sai was out of the fight, they could have just committed to taking that Baron. It's one of those moments where it's difficult, because typically when you're starting to learn about Barons, you've got 2 choices. You either actually make that 3. You're baiting, you're finishing, or you're turning. And it's so rare that you get situations where you have to both turn and finish. That is actually the best play, but that's what you can expect from these teams at the top level. It gets misplayed at the slightest level, and in the end, they do not get the Baron, and Longju gets a sigh of relief.
Sigh of relief, a little bit of extra gold, and they buy time, you know? We saw the power of the Shockwave into Prey's damage into that backline you were talking about. Yes, they weren't able to take out any of the tanks in the front line, but Deft, he was in the wrong place and he got hit by all that damage. There was nothing that the tanks could do in that moment in time to save his life. And so the positioning of Deft is going to have to be so stellar in the future. Gorilla having a little bit of trouble. He can't lantern himself out of this one. He is going to burn his flash, but that's really not going to help out. Here comes Score from the right side. Nice knock-up from Cuz to save the rest of his team, but a good pick onto Gorilla.
It's so curious to see how these teams are utilizing their itemization to tell us a story. Prey gets that double kill into the bottom side, and he's thinking, I could just go Ninja Tabis here into Renekton and Ashe, but the second that they fall so far behind, he can't even finish that item. He sits on the cloth armor looking for damage, and once again, Cuz has flash. They need to be trying to steal here. Smeb has ult. They're going to turn.
Okay, they're going to turn. Here comes Khan flashing away, but unfortunately, we are going to have Prey getting caught once again. So they do get that 1 pick. Score's a little bit low, but now it's 5v3. Gorilla did just respawn. Smeb trying to go 1v1 on Cuz. But again, this Baron, it goes down pretty slow with this composition. It's only Deft doing that damage. So Khan trying to poke onto Smeb. You can see Cuz, BDD even poking Deft a little bit. Smeb all by himself is getting pretty low. He gets taken out. Look at the rest of KT. They're getting low. Are they going to finish this one? Looks like it's going to be close. They do get it. Ash picks it up in the end. There's the hook. Are they going to continue onto this one? Longju doesn't look like it. They just get that one kill onto Smeb, let the Baron go, and back off.
Oh, that was the most uninspired attempt at a Baron steal from Cuz. BDD was trying his darndest to make sure that they kept vision, utilizing the ball to give him sight to make sure that he could get it. But instead of flashing to get the instant jump on it, he goes for the unburrow, for the tunnel to get inside the pit. And it just felt like they did not prioritize the Baron as much as BDD did. I think that BDD understood how valuable that objective was and was doing so much work for it, but Cuz failed to live up to the standard of you have to at least try that one. He went in anyways. You might as well either go in early, you go for the flash and tunnel out. There are plenty of opportunities, and now they're sitting at 4 members of KT with that Baron, and they're gonna go try to dive prey. Also, Deft got the Baron. When you see that the AD carry gets the Baron in the end, you have a heart-wrenching moment that tells you, damn, if I was there trying to steal, I could have had that.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's one of the big things, the big talking points coming into this game. They targeted Cuz with all the picks that they went for. They forced him, essentially, onto the Rek'Sai or onto one of these other weird picks. Okay, you gotta base check this brush here, but at least they know scores here. The arrow is gonna be flashed and it hits Prey, but Gorilla staying alive means that the lantern is still available. But after all, so far, he hasn't been having the best game of his life, to put it very lightly. So we'll see if he can try to shore that up here. Perhaps a steal in the future would get our hopes back up, but he needs to get into that. Would be a big play. Fans, once again, going to be hard to do, though, past this front line, especially now that the Baron is up and ticking.
Slowly but surely, all that Longju have to do is clear out the minion waves. Without minions, KT KT's dive is a lot harder to execute, so they have to prioritize, and then BDD is the main wave clear here, so he has to move between bottom and top as effortlessly as possible in order to stop any attempt at a dive and score threatens with the righteous glory. But he does have
Smeb on the other lanes so far, although the shockwave did go down, so KT, they've got an opportunity on this next push.
Shockwave is down, but half flash. Here we go.
Okay, there's the dive. Look at Prey. They want him. There's the flash. They get it. There's the follow-up stun, and down he goes. They went for one target, and they took him out on butter. That was so easy, man. Not much that Longju could do to stop that fight from happening.
They are killing Prey like if he's got the plague. Wait a minute.
Okay, we got a bit more fighting here, but there's going to be one. The Void will get out alive. Now it's Khan trying to has a bit of mana, so they're going to take out the... It's a huge turnaround right now for KT, who is beginning to take control of this game. Longju, they can't really engage at this point. Members can't get any more. Only one inhibitor has gone down from this push, even though it looked very dire for Longju. A bunch of members die. Prey, he's really having no effect in these fights, but Longju, they hang on.
That has been the story for Longju. It just doesn't look quite that. What happens every single fight where it looks like KT somehow is going to walk away with a game-breaking skirmish, but it's just not enough to get Longju down for the count. So they are able to take down Gorilla. Sure, but the great Void Rush from Cuz gets him to safety. He has to fly. He is isolated. There's no more minions there because Khan has been dealing with the wave for so long. Any kill that they can get is still fine for them, but still the problem remains. How do you keep Prey alive?
Yeah, definitely a problem they will have. Call out Gorilla again. He essentially gave his life for Khan because they were all collapsing into the mid lane and saying, okay, we got to get this Jace from behind. Let's push in the mid wave and go for this inhibitor. But Gorilla, he got the hook onto Smeb and said, hey, come fight me instead. Come dive the turret, take a bunch of damage. So that saved Khan's life. It allowed him to come back into the fight and do that damage from behind after Smeb and the rest of KT had taken some damage. So good on Gorilla, for sure. I also want to showcase that BDD picked up an elixir in that moment. Something that you might not do unless you're at the highest level, where it's, you know, do or die. You got to spend that gold for the extra elixir just to make sure that you can have just a bit more that little bit of oomph to keep your team in the game, and definitely helped out BDD in that one.
Exactly, and at this stage in the game, for what Longzhu have, it doesn't matter about KDAs, it doesn't matter about whether you make the correct individual play. You need to sacrifice yourself for the benefit of the team. BDD and Prey are the highest value targets, and BDD is already level 18, but Prey remains at 14, so he needs a long ways to catch up.
They're going on to Pawn here. You can see that he's still extremely tanky, though. The Stone Plane is going to be procced. We got another push coming in. Dominus as well from Smeb on the right side. Look at Prey again. Can they get onto him? The box coming down. They're scoring from behind. Prey is still alive. The heroic entrance, though. Trying to get out of that damage, but Prey does get knocked up. But there's the shockwave. This will be the turnaround for Longzhu. Can they get the kill? Pawn's still alive. They need to flash. The hook is not going to hit him. It's Smeb instead. And Deft, they finally get Galio. Deft is on the run. Looks like they're trying to get out to Smeb. Prey, he's still alive. They're hanging on to this one. This game is not over. Fighting for score. That's going to be one more. Can they get any more? Deft is still on the run. Mata coming in here. Cuz and Khan on the long chase. Cuz going to take the shortcut. Deft, what can he do? Mata can't protect them forever. They want these kills, and they should be able to get them. The Lantern coming in. There's that burst. Down goes the ADC. The hook gonna miss, but there's the Unburrow. And this should be the ace coming out. Longzhu, they're holding on.
And what is up with KT? They go dive a turret again without a minion wave. They just want blood non-stop. They just cannot resist the aroma of Longzhu, and it bites them back in the end. There's not an objective immediately. It's 15 seconds on the Dragon and 20 onto Baron. What is Longzhu going to prioritize here? The inhibitor is no longer a concern. That chase allowed the wave to push all the way back, and Inhib's coming back up. They're going to go for the Baron. There's plenty of members of KT, but I believe this is just going to be a trade.
They went a little bit too far. Score, he was diving way deep after the arrow hit BDD. He's like, okay, I smell the blood in the water. I want this guy really badly, and didn't work out. Prey survived the entire time, as the focus was on the other members. Good positioning, and that's going to mean the Baron. Longzhu, after the ace, they pick this one up. It looks like they're confident to perhaps take another fight here. They're still down on gold, but the confidence, the turnaround, the morale must be really high right now for Longzhu.
And that confidence is built in money because they have got way more items now. Prey has actually reached that point where we were talking about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. He's got his completed armor penetration item, a QSS to mitigate the arrow, as well as score, as well as a new BF sword, ready to have that Infinity Edge. The trade results, as they still don't want to take a fight right in the open. They have to remember, they've been winning these fights because of KT's over-aggression. They can't just walk in and say, oh, we're going to win these battles now. No, they're recognizing exactly what has happened that has put them in this position. And that's what's been so interesting about these two teams. They recognize each and every play that their counterpart is making, and they're trying to respond. And we're just getting excited because these dives are happening out of nowhere.
Yeah. Every team, no team is safe from the allure of a turret dive, especially in the base. It means taking out inhibitors. It means winning the game at the best. And every team has done it here in LCK. Season after season, you see dives that just do not go well, and can't really fault them. It's hard. It's really hard to say before the fight goes in whether or not you're going to be able to win on the back foot.
I'm going to fault them for diving that. That's a no minion tower dive. It's like they've got 5 Marians, but Prey, he's got his ult.
Okay, they got the hook, and look for that damage. The stone plate is popped, and Cuz in the back is taking a bunch here. He's going to take that Lantern in, but Prey, he has been taunted by the pawn here. The shockwave is going to be good. Score's getting low, but lots of members of the Longzhu side is getting low as well. Prey is still alive somehow. They can't kill him. They need to get on the backside. Pawn getting lower, though. Smeb can't get in range. They take out Jace, which is going to be good. And now Longzhu, they have to back off and regain their health, which means that this inhibitor should go down.
Longzhu have to remember that under normal situations, they would have won that fight. But this is a tank composition with Elder that makes them deal damage. Normally, you would have seen Longzhu just wipe the floor with KT in that moment. But because everybody's dealing damage, they actually won that one without Smeb even being there at the start, which is not like most fights we've seen so far. So we're going to look at it once again and keep your eyes out on the carries as all time. So KT Deft is dealing enough damage, but the knockup from Galio just barely gets to hit Prey, and he is just sitting on Twitch the entire time. And sure, the Shockwave is able to take down Score, but he doesn't really matter. It's all about the carries, and they're not dealing enough damage. Pawn did such a great job of keeping Prey distracted that the rest of the team built enough space for Deft to wipe the floor, and that's what happens when you have a one carry composition. There is not enough backline access because Prey, being the only guy that can get there, because there is no ball carrier, he's got his hands full with a Stoneplate Galio.
The entire fight, Prey was just dealing with the gargoyle in his face. That's what he had to do, and you gotta have a bit better positioning for the next time, not to get hit by all that CC. It's really hard with the abundance that KT does have on their side, but we'll see if he can do a little bit better on the next time. So the Baron, after all those plays, the Baron didn't really do much, right? The Elders seemed to be more valuable for the side of KT. The dive worked out. They got the turret, they got the inhibitor. Now they have this open bottom lane at the same time, so they're going to be looking to push this one next.
But at the same time, the Baron did, because we're back at one inhibitor in the favor of KT, and now the itemization is completed. Infinity Edge for Prey, Death Cap for BDD, and no more Elder. If KT is overeager again, KT can win a fight, especially if Prey can snipe out Deft. If Deft goes down, Longju win the fight, guaranteed.
Yep, look for the ball and look for Prey, because Deft, he's been in the front. He's playing, you know, a little bit of that Tristana style, getting aggressive, trying to poke a little bit. Ash doesn't quite have the same amount of range, and he needs to be available to get the arrows down to follow up. So just trying to poke here a little bit. The flash is not available on Cuz. It is available on Gorilla. And now it looks like the tanks are going to move forward from KT. Just little by little, get that poking damage done. Score eating a bit, a chunk from the side of Orianna. They hook Pawn here, but again, he's just so tanky that they can't really do much. And now Cuz in the front, the Shockwave not going to do much. Cuz still alive, funnily enough, but this will mean the inhibitor goes down, and the fight will continue. KT doesn't look like they want to dive anymore after the failed dives from earlier. Although, as I say that, the arrow goes wide, as well as the Winter's Bite, so not quite working out for them. Longju was thinking about a counter engage, but a good disengage by KT.
I wish we had a replay for how that push actually happened. Even though there were no casualties, every time that Longju have won a fight, it's been either KT being overeager or it going off a hook from Gorilla. Now, because this time Pawn gets hooked and he's tankier than Gragas, he can survive a little bit longer. But what's important is that Gorilla can't stay next to Prey. He's the one that's looking for picks, and Prey has to remain stealth. So they put up a control ward right in their faces, and they just can't kill it. Is Prey going to de-stealth and kill that? Is BDD going to approach it and put himself in that position where he can't follow up on Gorilla? And worst of all, is he going to position himself near Prey? Longju have to keep both their carries separated because there is so much CC from KT. It's such a hard engage that it is imperative that if one gets targeted, that the other can follow up.
So this game will continue. We're here at 43 minutes into the game. If you're just joining, you've missed a banger. It's been good. It's been back and forth. And Longju, they continue to hold on. KT was looking good, especially in the mid-game where they took a couple of very one-sided fights. But Longju, capitalizing on a dive, was able to make it as close as it is now. They're down about 5,000 gold, but we're reaching the point in the game where everybody is near 6 items. So having to deal with the pushes on their 2 lanes for sure. But we'll see if they can take a fight coming into this one. KT still slowly pushing.
It's fine for Longju to have any member distracted by Khan as long as they separate the strong 5-man that they have on KT. Khan is perfectly okay being in the side lanes, dealing with the waves as long as there's no real threat. KT needs to protect Deft, and Longju just need to watch out for their carries. We've got Baron coming up in 10 seconds, and there's not enough vision for Longju to defend this. And I believe that KT can take this, and Longju can be okay with giving this one up. They're not in a position to contest it, and will still just have to take on their confidence in these team fights to win one where Baron is up. And they're moving in close. Khan doesn't have TP.
Doesn't have TP, so it's a 4-on-5, and here we go. Smeb coming in from behind. Here's Khan. They're looking for that engage. That hook almost hit Prey, or rather Def in the back, but here's Smeb getting onto Prey. The heroic entrance to QSS is used, but Prey is knocked up. Trying to do damage to these tanks is so incredibly hard. Look at Smeb getting low, but Cuz at the same time, they're looking for that, but Prey over the wall. Def, he's getting so low, he doesn't go down. Finally, Cuz can get onto the backline so that AD carry is taken away. There's the shockwave, 2 kills for Longju, and now they're on the chase. They get those 2 amazing kills, and now they're going for Baron.
And KT's getting full-on tank syndrome. They cannot kill Prey at this stage in the game. They absolutely need depth, and the positioning that was allowed for Prey means that even though he got exhausted, he was able to just bop Def from over the wall, and that allowed Cuz to finish him off. But Renekton and Galio cannot kill carries at this stage in the game. What worked in the mid-game needs to change in the late, and they are refusing to adapt. We're going to look at the fight again. Here's Renekton, sure, but look at how tanky Prey is. The shields, the heals, the CC, it's not enough. He's got lifesteal too, and through exhaust, Prey just can't get hit. Def does not have the range. Their Prey and Spray is too big, and someone, for some reason, score flashes at the end, but he's just using his flash in vain. Longju get a Baron, and they are now still in the driver's seat, kind of in this game in terms of damage, because KT is refusing to play around Def. If for some reason he's not on a hyper carry, they just ignore him.
They need to. Basically the only one at this point, whereas Prey, the perfect flash over the wall and no response. They had used so much to get on him in the beginning, but he still had everything available, and he was totally fine. Deft just taking that damage over the wall, couldn't do as much consistent damage.
Well, it's not so much about protecting him, it's about making sure that he's dealing damage. If the tanks are soaking up damage from BDD and Prey, they're losing this battle. BDD and Prey will output way more DPS than Deft by himself, so they need to make sure that they are soaking up while Deft is dealing, and that's just not happening. They're just giving their lives away while Deft is wondering, hey, who am I supposed to be hitting at this time? I'm by myself, there's nobody near me. Prioritize the front line from Longju, because after all, they don't really have a front line. They can kill Cuz quite easily if they only resorted to being 5-man strong, making sure that Deft hits. The fights would be looking a little bit different, but now Longju have Baron. They are pushing straight down the mid lane, and KT split again.
Do a double teleport. You can see that pawn, he went up to top side to push that one in. You can see Smeb doing the same in the bottom side. So now in the lanes for Longju, they can't exactly just push it down. That's going on, especially with the Elder Drake about to spawn 5 seconds away from coming in here. Khan trying to find Smeb on the other lane so far, although the shockwave did gain relevance in the late game on this Jace. He's so far just been sending in shock blasts into walls and tanks and stuff like that, but needs to be pushing. He's gonna get his teleport up here and just
want to fight this, they have to funnel in. The second they see Kate completely grouped, they can get through. Last time they gave it up, they are grouped in. The teleport comes out. KT wants to turn
the left side. Keep an eye on him, but they tag him. They know what Longju can do to stop that fight from happening.
They are killing Prey like if he's got them playing. Wait a minute.
Okay, we got a bit more. He's there. So they're gonna play it a little bit more carefully. Taking it slow. Look at Prey actually getting onto Smeb, trying to zone him out all the way on the left side. That Elder Drake is getting low. Pawn once again going to be slowed down incredibly. It's going to come down. Prey poking that down, but it's going to reset. Big shockwave though, and Mana getting low. But can they survive for Prey? So many stuns coming out. Prey's not doing damage, but look at the backside. He's going to stay alive. And Cuz getting in deep, but finally they get the Twitch. Just finally in the end of that game. Now it's all about BDD versus 4. Can he do it? Khan is still alive. They have that poke damage. Still a bit of mana left over on BDD. They're looking for some more plays. Death getting low on mana too. And it looks like even though they got Prey, they took too much. And BDD is too healthy. The rest of KT is on the run.
That actually worked. They went all out for Prey, and he wasn't even able to use his flash out of that one. They're going to be able to pick up Pawn at the end of this one, but they are going to get that Elder Dragon in return. But I want to look at that fight again because they blew everything onto Prey. His QSS was popped. They blew so much that it looked like he was going to survive right at the end, but Deft was capable of taking down Rek'Sai by himself with the assistance of the stun from Mata. But boy, that fight looked so close. Prey, if he lived on that one, we would have seen a push for the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fight is split because you've got Prey in the backside with Renekton coming in. The Shockwave and the Arrow are the biggest cues for the fight happen. They're fed up here. Just go on Gorilla already. And here comes the Arrow. So Arrow gets out. It gets prioritized on a different target, but the Unbreakable is up from Braun. And look at how much they throw onto Prey. 3 guys on him with stone plates on, CCs for days. He's got flash, and he could have gotten away from that one, but...
He could have flashed the taunt. He could have flashed over the wall.
Over the wall,
yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. He just didn't do it.
That's what happened against Jin Air, where Prey was playing Tristana, and in a late-game team fight, he made one crucial mistake. He's been playing decently well this entire game, but when it comes down to these late-game scenarios, one mistake is really all that it takes, and I think both teams are quite lucky to have the fight ended as it did.
I would have to agree, and I think everybody's lucky here that we're getting the first game between KT and Longzhu go past 50 minutes. It's been full of excitement so far, so many kills, and I'm very excited to see who's going to end up with the win on this one, because still, really anyone's game. The Elder Drake, only a minute left, is going to be strong during that moment in time. Would expect KT to make a push towards these inhibitors.
Prey has sold his boots for a Phantom Dancer. Full-on DPS from the Twitch. They once again need to prioritize depth, but I think that he's a bit stronger now to deal with the tanks. He has flash still available, whereas Smeb and Pawn do not.
See that Khan, he always tries to target. Okay, they get up to Death. They get the flame, but he's still alive. Shockwave is not going to hit him. Death still doing that damage on the back. But here's Prey. They're trying to get onto him as well. Khan getting extremely low. The Arrow going to hit Gorilla. They will take him out. And Prey couldn't do that consistent damage. He wasn't close enough. He was zoned out for long enough. And it looks like they take out Gorilla, and now they'll go for the push.
Smeb is recalling right now. His teleport is not quite up. I don't think KT can be going for a push here. They do have Body Slam Flash on score. Okay, 2 inhibitors and they're out, but what was that out of Longzhu? For the first time, they try to go for the dive. It starts with Gorilla flashing in and Khan trying to go onto depth, but that Ashe is way harder to kill than the Twitch. You've got Gallia, you've got Braum. It is significantly tougher to go for that one. KT's trying to end the game here if they go for this Baron bait, but I don't think KT or Longzhu should be even thinking about face checking this, and without Gorilla to help anybody with a Lantern out, one death would be a disaster and would surely spell the game, so they have to deal with KT having Baron now.
One mistake in that team fight, just trying to go a little bit too deep, and it didn't work out. The call, that super tanky depth, it feels weird to say, but as you were talking about, he has so much support at this point, it's ridiculous. So let's take another look at how he went for this.
So it starts with Gorilla flashing in, but notice how Score plays this fight out. They've decided you're no longer killing Twitch, just get him the hell out of here. Blow the cast on him, and again, the Shockwave hits a couple of tanks, but Unbreakable is there to stop so much of the damage. Prey can't deal with the Renekton with a stone plate in his face 24/7, but the biggest thing was just Khan going on to depth. Such a difference in styles from what we have seen all game long that allowed Longzhu to get to this position that it's not going to work. It hasn't worked all game.
Yeah. You can CC depth for like 10 seconds and you'd still have trouble killing him at this point. So they're going to have to rethink their game plan. See how they do that cask, as you mentioned. I'm glad you caught that. That was basically perfect to get Prey out of the majority of that fight.
That's basically how you play out the late game fights into hyper carries. You reach a point in the mid game where the priority becomes, all right, just kill him, get him onto us. But then if you don't have enough damage, where it's not safe enough, where he can just take down everybody, your motto is just get him out. Lee Sin does it. Gragas does it. Any other disposition champion like an Alistar will prioritize that one as well, as it's a simpler move to orchestrate that only requires one character, as opposed to, all right, Score, get Twitch onto us and let's kill him, especially if he has flash.
So we have Khan dealing nicely with Smeb, who's going to go back and look for the teleport here. Coming with this push, the hook is going to sail wide. Score will avoid that for now. They're desperately, Longzhu, trying to clean up this wave, but Deft moving in, poking the turret, moving out. The hooks, another one misses. And this push, ever so slowly, but ever so effectively, as that turret is getting lower and lower. And Prey looking to come from the left side. We'll see how this works out. He's going to poke pawn, so he revealed himself. Hook going to hit a minion this time around, and here we go. The TP coming in. They're looking for a big play from the right side. Smeb, the speedy Croc. Can he get in the back? It looks like they'll take this one slow. They're just going to go for the inhibitor. No dives this time around. A much safer KT this time. And they get the hook onto Scorer, but again, they can't fully engage onto him. Redemption also coming out. And now we're in a 3 inhibitor down situation.
KT have to push for the game here. They've got minions. They need to be patient.
The hook going to miss again. Croc gets away scot-free this time, and the arrow is good onto Prey. They forced that QSS early. But again, the minion wave going to go down, and no Nexus turrets. Another missed death sentence. Just looking for whatever pick they can get. The push continues. 45 seconds left on Baron. Here comes another super minion and another teleport. They're really pushing hard for this one.
It's now or never. They've got 3 flashes.
Okay, they got that turret. Down goes one. Will he get another one? Here's Cuz going in the back. The Umburo is not going to work. He's going to be burst down. The Shockwave is going to be flashed by death, and down goes the Rek'Sai. Pawn is going to stay alive. Now it's 5v4. SKT's looking good. Better and better to take this game. It looks like in 55 minutes they might be able to do it, but here's Prey trying to do that damage, trying to take down Smeb in the front. The heroic entrance. They're just focusing the Nexus. Down it goes. Game number 1 to KT.
Oh, the triple inhibitor is at 55 minutes. What looked like an easy stomp for KT just got stalled out to 30 more minutes, and Longju gave us everything that we hoped for, a game that revolved around team fighting. This is what these two teams have been doing for the last 2 weeks, just team fighting and beating everybody that way, and it was only iconic that we got to see them both brawl it out till the very end.
That's what we wanted out of this matchup. We wanted down to the bone, as close as you can get. Extremely on the edge dives, where it goes wrong for KT, then it goes wrong for Longju. Back and forth, KT in the lead for almost all of that game, but having trouble closing it out, as you were saying. So you can see Mata screaming at the end. The energy was really high in that KT booth, as in 55 minutes they take out game number 1. But that was just one game. We still got potentially 2 more. And you were saying even, Longju, they put up a fight, right? As I say that, the arrow goes wide, as well as the Winter's Bite. So not quite working out the way Longju was thinking about a counter-engage, but a good disengage. They were behind. They made a couple of big mistakes, and they got really far behind. They pushed it 30 extra minutes. They gave it their all, and they almost even came back in that one. So looking KT here on the...
These teams were excellent at recognizing what got them into